but I'll let Killer B do an intro if he wants to.
Sure, sounds good. So we have Liereyyy and Hearttt playing a 1v1. We've got the Malay here from Liereyyy in game 2, and we have Britons, as Zach was saying, for Hearttt on the other side of the map. Liereyyy took game number 1. This is Killer B, and I am joined by none other than the mailman himself, Mr. Milmano, and Mr. ZeroEmpires, Zach and Milmano. Good to have you guys with me. I guess I'll throw it to you first, Milmano. What are your thoughts at first blush on this map?
Oh, I'm just happy I got a prediction right, being Britons. I am valuable. So, sorry, I completely missed the question. I was just infatuated with my own prediction. But I guess we're looking at Hearttt's base, right? Or are we...
Sure, yeah. I was just wondering what you think at first from this matchup and from the maps, and what are your thoughts here as we just get things kicked off?
Well, I think Britain was my expected choice for Hearttt. I think it's a good pick to go with. I think first of all, I think it's more of a comfort pick for him as well. I think I've seen him play a few times at Britons, and it's quite nice for him. So I think it's going to suit well. Against Malay, however, it's slightly difficult. What I love about Malay is that aging up so quick. I mean, that is insane. Just be able to get up so much faster than the Britons, of course, and that's going to allow them to be nice and aggressive with. So I expect Hearttt to be under quite a bit of pressure, especially the fact that Heartt's base on the front is so freaking open, and it's worse because his main goal's on the front, as is his second, and also his, I think his main stone, no, his second stone. But it's not great for Hearttt, so I'm curious to see how it's going to pan out for him and how he's going to react to it.
Yeah, and it looks like we will go past when a re could be called. The countdown or the count up is still going for the host, so it looks like players have not called a re, and they're going to play this one out. Hearttt has to turn the tide in this one. Liereyyy grabbed the offensive in game 1 and never let it go. Hearttt here playing, as you said, maybe with a more comfortable civ in Britons. We do see Hearttt forward with his scout early, looking to see if he can find some easy pickings. What crosses your mind early in this one, Zach? What are your thoughts here?
I really don't like Heartt's map because after the last game, well, as Milmano said, it's very open on the right side specifically, but all of his gold is forward again. And after the last game, we did see Liereyyy taking the initiative. We did see Liereyyy being the aggressor, and Hearttt was much more content to sit back and play a more slow style with his archers. If he does that again, then he could be in trouble again. I think he needs to be more proactive around the map. And this time around, although Liereyyy does have a gold in the back, it's not the best. It's very close to that wood line, and the rest of his gold is kind of a lot more exposed. So I think the map's a little better for Hearttt this time around, but it's still not great. And I think he needs to take the initiative, but maybe difficult versus the Malay, since as Milmano was saying, they do go up that much faster.
Yeah, absolutely. McKay in the chat saying, is it better to have the better archers or the faster archers? And I guess we could find out. Of course, both players will have more options than archers, but those are strong decisions that they'll have to make. Blue player hanging out in the back of his opponent's base. We'll look at Hearttt scouting first. He's found Liereyyy. He's found Liereyy's main gold. He's circling around the TC, getting an idea of what's going on. Liereyyy has also found Hearttt. Both guys are at a very similar stage with their scouting. I didn't see any resources lamed, but we could have seen Liereyyy take some damage on his scout there, getting a little close to the TC. All in all, it looks like a pretty straightforward match. Players are respecting one another. They're not going greedy boy and just pushing deer. They're going to figure it all out.
Yeah, that's true. Then I think that's what we saw Hearttt doing last game, actually. He was being a bit more greedy, pushing the deer in as well. This time around, he is, as you say, hanging around looking for an opportunity. And we see both players adding their barracks right now. Will we see a drush? Will we see men-at-arms? Well, we'll find out very soon. Last game they built the barracks early and then did nothing with it. Will this time be the same?
Yeah, I guess we'll find out here in a moment. As you said, the barracks are coming up for both guys. 20 villagers at the moment for Hearttt. He's got one more villager queued, and it looks like he should go loom and then up, I would guess, with 21 total fills. Barracks will be down, and villagers are moving out to gold for the red players, so possibly some men-at-arms in this build. On the blue side of the map, Liereyy's going to build his militia in the Dark Age. It's going to be a true drush, and he'll use that faster uptime to be up at a similar moment to his opponent. Liereyyy maybe once again here wants to seize the initiative, taking 10 gold, so it's going to be a true drush potentially. Maybe not men-at-arms for Liereyyy.
It's quite a late one, though. I mean, like, just go. It's a bit late to be sent out by now, I think, as far as I remember. It's a bit late. It's not massively late, but it's a little bit late, I think. I think about a little bit earlier. From what I remember, but I could be wrong.
He built the barracks at 6:30, but the
Did he?
problem is, by the time he's trained the militia and sent them over, Heartt's got his own out as well, so... yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Maybe it's not so bad. So I haven't seen the rush in so long. Like it's always been man-at-arms, so I just forget that. Okay, it's not so bad then. But again, as you said, that the militia are already out. So
yeah, the sooner the I would say the sooner the better for Liereyyy to take this engagement. His opponent Hearttt could go men-at-arms. Liereyyy does not seem to be in position to do so. So Leary's going to take this fight happily, dwindle those men-at-arms, and Hearttt may not really want to go in that direction. In the meantime, we are on 25 villagers for Liereyyy, and he still has not clicked up. Mr. Liereyyy is going to get at least one more villager out. He'll be on 27 vills before he clicks up to the feudal age.
He's been a greedy boy, but this is actually a very, very good drush situation here for Liereyyy. He did lose his scout, but he's winning the fight, and I think that's important because if Hearttt was, of course, planning to go man-at-arms, then he's basically removed the potential for man-at-arms by taking a good fight now, and that means that he doesn't have to deal with 3 man-at-arms later battering on his walls and causing a lot of trouble. So I think I'd say it was a good fight for Liereyyy to take, and he's put himself into a reasonably strong position. While Hearttt will be a little faster to the feudal age, Liereyyy will be very hot on his heels. As we already said, that Malay faster uptime certainly helping things out there. And we're going to see Liereyyy taking quite the villager advantage now as well, even without any villagers dying. Oh, speaking of dying, Heartt's scout.
Yeah, Hearttt losing his scout there for free. Go ahead, Milmano. What's up?
Just like boom, down to the scout. Yeah, that touching on that exact point, villager numbers. God, that's just crazy. Like no villagers down yet. It's what 3 up already, just thanks to that age up time. That's actually so important. Like the amount of extra time gathering, etc. like that. It's so good. But here's that rush coming in now, finally from Liereyyy. We'll see what can be done. If a vill can be picked off, I don't.
Oh, close.
It was close.
Yeah, what could have been nice here for Liereyyy is he. Sorry, do we get a vill?
Yeah, I think he's got a vill. Like that's a vill down, yeah. That's a vill.
No, that was a militia.
Oh, it looked like a vill. My hopes were raised for a moment.
I was going to say, it could have been an interesting moment for Liereyyy because he's up a little bit later, but he goes into double ranges, and I presume he's going into some skirms because he's only got 1 villager on gold. So Liereyyy really would have been ready if Hearttt decided to go archers. Hearttt, kind of wisely here, is already going into skirms, so he's going to be ready to fight a full-on skirmisher battle. And I've seen this a bit in some of these Wololo Kingdoms practice games. We've seen players go really, really deep into skirms and just have these massive battles. Blacksmith coming down for the blue player to get fletching. Blacksmith should be down somewhat soon for Hearttt on his side. And we will wait for this one to continue to heat up. A couple villager advantage for Liereyyy because his civ is faster, but Hearttt is now on the offensive.
Literally, it's getting hot in here as Hearttt will move out. But yeah, I mean, Hearttt noticed he actually did have his second range up after Liereyyy had his second range up, which is amazing considering the timing difference with going up to the feudal age. Liereyy's now just going to drop out of those ranges, prize, and Heartt's going to have to run back. Nice jukes though, trying to regroup his army here and take the hill as Liereyy's pushing out. Liereyyy already has fletching as well, by the way. Heartt's only just getting that in right now, so Liereyy's in a spot, I'd say.
Yeah, this hill in front of Heartt's base looks like an area that I would want to be on top of and not on the bottom of. And Hearttt is going to try to hold that line as fletching comes in. We'll see if he can turn and fight and hold his opponent off. 11 military, 12 military for each player, so a very close match so far. Who's got the edge, Milmano? Who's ahead at this moment?
That's wise. You would say Liereyy's ahead in terms of military and build numbers. But I think Heartt's in a decent position though. He's still got control of this hill. This hill's so important to him. If he loses control of this hill, you could nearly say it's pretty much game over. You could say to some degree. But for now, he's holding on to it pretty well. Just needs to make sure the micro is there, and he's doing a very good job actually. I have to say, he's doing some really good splits, and just effectively microing very well. So how it pans out. I think it's going to be okay though.
Yeah, as you said, Hearttt clinging to the top of that hill. Liereyy's ahead. He kind of should be ahead by a couple vills because of the civ difference. But Hearttt has not done anything to put himself behind. So far, Heartt's played a fairly clean game. He wanted men-at-arms. That got denied. But you know, all in all, you break a few eggs to make an omelet, and this is probably anybody's game at this point. Liereyy's still pumping double range skirms, for those of you guys keeping track at home, and so is Hearttt. So both of these guys are going to be going very deep into what is often thought of as a counter unit, but of course, in the hands of a pro, this unit can be really deadly.
Yeah, that's true, and I actually think that the Brits should take the advantage here, well, provided they don't lose in the feudal age to Liereyy's skirms. Jeez, that is a terrible fight for Hearttt right there. Look at this. Liereyyy just strong manning his way through. That's a really bad fight for Hearttt, losing so much there. Perfect engagement for Liereyyy.
Oh man.
Yeah, Hearttt will bring a couple Vils in as a little bit of a meat shield. That's still an effective tactic versus regular old skirms. But those Vils are not finding home. Liereyyy is simply microing around those Vils, and they are playing ring around the rosy. Liereyy's just killing everything in Heartt's base. It's looking bad right now for Hearttt from a military standpoint.
Well, that suddenly went from being quite even to Liereyyy taking a huge advantage in the space of about 20 seconds. That was just such a bad engagement for Hearttt there, as he tried to retreat out of range, and Liereyyy just out-microed him, essentially. He's now going to have the hill as well, and coming in with reinforcements. Bad news for Hearttt here.
Bad. He shouldn't have to put a tower down, but he's going to put a tower down shortly. Like ideally next to that gold camp now to try and protect the wood line a little bit. But even then, the wood line can just be harassed on the other side, so he's in a real tough position. That another archery injury? I can't believe I'm actually going to see a third archery injury put down for Britons, like, at this point. Like, I get why he has to, but like, you'd normally think that 2 range would be enough without production bonus, but this is bad.
Yeah, interestingly, as Hearttt walls toward the TC to get more skirmishers out, Liereyyy is, as Zach said before, he's strong manning his brother in arms. These two guys are in the same clan, Aftermath, and Liereyyy here is he's just, you know, he's hurting Hearttt in all the right places. What's interesting about this is these players did essentially the same build. Both guys did a drush, and then both guys went into skirms, and they've built similar numbers of units, but there is a massive difference in kill death, and you have to chalk that up to Liereyyy microing well and taking good fights. Hearttt here is going to have his economy harassed. He will start to lose some Vils. This is a pretty critically large number of skirms, and they should be able to probably two-shot villagers at this point in the feudal age.
Oh, Castle Age. Okay, that's bad.
Oh, if players were neck and neck in the Castle Age, like if Hearttt not lost that bad fight there, I think the Brits can take the edge because they do have the better knights compared to the Malay, which don't get +2 defense, for example. The Brits in the Castle Age as well, they're cheaper TCs, they can start to take the edge there as well. But right now, Liereyyy will lose the rest of his army inside of Heartt's base, but he's already done the damage he needs. He's already inflicted quite a lot of casualties while sustaining very few deaths.
Yeah, Liereyyy will hit the Castle Age before Hearttt clicks it. Hearttt adding in a market to try to balance out his economy a bit. Probably understands that he needs to find a way to buy his way up because his opponent is starting to take over that hill. The very hill that Zach told us that Hearttt really can't lose. Actually, both of you guys told me that. There will now be a siege workshop and monastery up there for Liereyyy as he goes crossbowman and bodkin arrow. Is there any way out of this death spiral, Milmano? Is there any way out of this?
Yup. No. Is he anywhere close to looking up? No. I would give this a solid 0 out of 10 chance.
You can hit enter and then G followed by G, but that's all I see in the future for Hearttt. But, you know, we'll still push through this one. Hearttt still owns that front gold, and yeah, he actually is ready to call it here. So game number 2 goes to Liereyyy as well. Any final thoughts on that match, guys?
Very fast game, again. Very similar to the first game, again. Liereyyy just taking the better fights, keeping the pressure on. Hearttt never really being able to push out at any point during that game. And a lot of that could be put down to Heartt's map, but I think Liereyyy is just playing better right now as well. Not to forget, of course, Liereyyy did have a better civ here for this early game, or at least to do what he wants to do in this early game, which is get up quickly. And he gets a free villager advantage with that as well, so it's really nice. But yeah, pretty similar to the last game, really, and quite dominant display from Liereyyy so far. Yeah,
really nice game there from Liereyyy. Any final wrap-up thoughts there, Milmano? Is there Is there hope mentally for Hearttt? He's got to pull himself out of this, right? I mean, if he loses another game, he's almost in an infinitely deep hole. So we have to see Hearttt really win the next match, don't you think?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's spiraling out of control. Like he needs to. It's just I think his decision making needs to be a little bit better. Like in that game just then, I think it would have been perfectly acceptable to re. I know he's only got one re to use, and you wouldn't want to re in the first two, but like you've got Britons, man. I know you're against Malay, and it's difficult. So you want to make that game, you know, winnable. Like that was not a winnable game without that map he had, with what he was trying to do. Like should have been like with the hill to hold, but it just didn't work out. I think he needs